What's up, pluckers and pickers around the world? Welcome to Six String Sit Down. I'm your host, Mitch Wessel. Welcome to Method Manor. I'm here with the very powerful and magical Jake Banaszak. So I appreciate you coming on the show, Jake.
Thanks for having me. Yeah.
I'm gonna start off with some questions for you. What age did you start playing guitar, and what was it that lit the spark for you?
It was the mid '90s, so it was like Nirvana, Pearl Jam, all that stuff was real popular. I was around 12 or 13, and I think every kid around that age wants an instrument, wants to play the drums or the guitar or something. So that's started taking lessons, and that was it.
Remember your first guitar?
Yes, it was a Lotus from the farmer's market.
Nice. It was like a Strat copy or something?
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yep.
So, as far as your formative years, man, do you remember, did you take lessons from somebody? Were you listening to records?
Anthony G up at Accent was he was my teacher. He was great. Like I said, we started out, it was all like power chords and, that kind of stuff. And he showed me, we were going through the books and all. And then I'll never forget, I brought in, I believe it was like a Kiss song or something, and I wanted to learn the solo. I heard the lead guitar, and I was like, I want to learn that. So he showed me pentatonic, he showed me some blues stuff, and that was really my first experience with like blues and knowing what it was playing it. And I fell in love with the fact that you could improvise, learn how to jam, and and that was my first experience with that kind of music, was just me and him showing me how to play it, really.
Right.
So it was really cool, and he was a great teacher. I mean, our lessons ended up after that, we started just jamming, like kind of how you and I, how you and I would jam. It's that's kind of what lessons became, was like trading licks, and he was showing me different things, and he was really great.
So in the beginning, obviously, you sounds like you kind of had a cup of coffee with like some hard rock and did a couple of different things. When was it that you really fell in love with the blues? Like, who was your guy growing up?
It was really the scene. I remember my dad took me to a blues club that used to be in Wilmington called Fat Rick's, and because he heard me playing blues, and he just thought it was cool that I was so young and into this style. He was like, "Well, I'll take you to a club and hear it."
Yeah.
And that was the first time I ever walked into a blues club. I was about like 15, and a guy named Larry Gardner was playing, and during his set break, he came over and talked to us because I was the only kid in the place. So he comes up, and my dad was like, "Yeah, he's learning to play. I wanted to let him hear some blues and all." And the next set, on his first song, that guy walked off the stage, had a real long chord, and came over, and he leaned in and he said, "Can you play an A minor?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he gave me the guitar and put me on the stage, and I was up there playing. First time I was ever in a blues club in my life.
Wow.
So I'm up there playing, and the place, everybody loved it, and, it was just fun. And the owner, Rick, came up and said, anytime you're here, you can get up and play with the band, So
that's awesome, man.
That was kind of my start into, like, the actual scene, like blues,
right.
And,
Which is crazy because, like, Wilmington, Wilmington has a great blues scene, but nowadays, like, down south more, with the Blues Society and all that, it kind of feels like that city's moved a little more south.
There's a lot of, Diamond State's still doing their thing in Central Delaware, they got their thing going, and, there's a lot of great players around here, for sure. And they're all, we got a great community of musicians here.
Yeah, for sure, man.
As you know. Everybody supports each other here, which is really cool.
Yeah. So tell me about the, obviously Lowercase, man. You guys been doing your thing for a long time now.
Yeah.
And I read an article that said you guys formed in high school and had a teacher that let you practice in the cafeteria.
Yeah,
tell me a little bit about those days,
sort
man.
of. Yeah, I met BJ in high school, and then he was friends with Paul, so that's how we all,
Right.
synced up, But yeah, it wasn't until after high school when we started really getting serious about the band. BJ got real into playing the bass because he's a guitar player.
Right.
So we were always cutting heads, and then he started getting into the bass, and I was like, oh man, now we got a band.
Yeah.
And then Paulie came in, and we just started doing it. So it's been 15 years, and still going.
I think BJ actually took lessons from a guy named Jody Bender who gave me lessons back in the day.
Oh, okay. Accent.
Yep.
We all took lessons of accent.
That guy.
That's where Anthony taught too, and Paul took drum lessons from Jackie Brown up there.
Nice. That's all small world, man. Yeah, shout out to Jody, man. He was a great teacher. He made it fun, man. He sure did.
Man. That's cool.
So, all right, man. So you guys been playing around doing your stuff. You've been lucky enough. You've gotten to play with some really top-notch players. You got to share the stage. I mean, Buddy Guy, Kenny Shepard, Johnny Lane. What was anything stand out from any of those experiences that special to you?
Yeah, the Buddy Guy show was amazing. Cause, I was pretty young. I was only 23 or so. To be on stage, to get to open up that show, and I got to meet him for the first time. I'll never forget when he walked into the room. It was just like, I'm standing next to Buddy Guy right now. I just got done playing. It was just amazing. But we did the Robert Randolph show one time, and he asked me to go up to jam with him. So I was
Robert Randolph.
Yeah, Robert
nice.
Randolph. So I got to trade licks with Robert Randolph. That was pretty awesome.
Which is awesome. He's super melodic.
Yeah, it was really, really cool. Los Lonely Boys actually were really nice guys. They really liked us. They were.
I love those guys.
Yeah, they were really cool. And then of course Blues Traveler at the State Fair. That was that was really cool. I'm like sitting on the couch like with John Popper, like we are right now talking. And it was neat.
Yeah, he's an incredible singer, man. Then any advice like when you got to talk to Buddy Guy? Because I know he's really awesome with like a younger man. He's just like every time I read an interview with him, he just wants to see the blues go on to the future, man.
He was friendly. I mean, he was getting ready to go on. So like we were hanging out with the band, and then the band like warms up the stage for him. So they all went on. So there was this moment of me, our manager at the time, and Buddy Guy there. So I talked to him briefly, and he was very friendly and all, but he had to go on the stage. So it was kind of I didn't get to really hang out with him for a long time. But the funny thing, because BJ walked in right around that time, and when he goes on, he's always drinking cognac, and he had this cup of cognac, and he handed it off to us. So he's on stage. We're standing backstage with Buddy Guy's cognac, and we're just like, we're not going to drink this.
Oh, that's
that
great.
That was the funny part.
You guys drank Buddy Guy's cognac.
We drank Buddy Guy's
cognac. That's awesome.
We
What a
weren't
great
not
story.
going to do it. It's like,
oh, that'd be terrible if he comes back. He's like, hey, where's my cognac at? You're like, oh, then you're like, oh, I didn't drink Buddy Guy's cognac. Oh, man. So, I don't know, man, as a guitarist, tell me, what did the blues mean to you? Because I feel like every guy has kind of their different relationship with it.
Yeah, it's definitely a common topic of discussion. To me, it's, I love the improvisation. I think it's about being yourself on the instrument. Like, there's always this common thing of, like, traditional versus modern versus rock versus, different. And I think it's just how you feel, man. It's like, blues is a universal language. You know what I mean? It's like you could put a metal player together, a country player, a blues player, a jazz player all in the same room, and they're probably going to jam on a 1-4-5 blues progression. You know what I mean? It's just it's where it all kind of stems from. And you could play real traditional and pay tribute to the old guys, which I love. But also my favorite thing is to find yourself in the music, and I think it's a great platform.
Right, absolutely. So that leads me to my next question, which is, out of all the configurations you could play with, what makes the power trio your favorite?
Well, specifically with my band, I mean, it's we're all equals up there. You know what I mean? It's not like one man show. Like a lot of times it'll be like Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Yeah.
I mean, it was Stevie Ray Vaughan and Double Trouble. Double Trouble was a great band, but they were there to back up Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Right.
With us, we're equals up there. We all have our time to shine, and we all contribute to the music equally. And that kind of what makes us a little, maybe a little different.
No, for sure,
The way BJ plays the bass and stuff is, and then Paul contributes equally on the drums as well. So it's, it's like a conversation between the three of us, and it's, we love adding people in and jamming with other people too. I mean, it's fun, but it's definitely something unique when it's the three of us just playing music together.
Well, especially as long as you guys have been doing it,
exactly,
man. It's like a family bond right there, man.
There's, it's definitely like we can take it places.
Right. So you guys love blues, but I hear like a lot of like Zappa and like acid jazz and stuff like that, man. So you guys, what other kind of influences were big for you?
Well, definitely. I'd say I'm probably more of the blues. I mean, BJ too, but Paul's definitely more of a jazz, influence.
Right.
And they both love like Fish and the Dead. I've definitely adapted to some of that music. I listen to more Grateful Dead now than I ever have. Actually, I really kind of fallen into some of that stuff. But it's mainly from playing it with them. And really, I remember when we were younger, it was, we were trying to hit a scene, we were trying to get out there and market ourselves. And at that time in Newark, there was a pretty good jam band scene going on. So we kind of fell into that a little bit, and we had that, there was some bands around that we would do shows at the East End or Deer Park with.
Right.
So we kind of fell into like a jam band kind of scene a little bit too,
Nice. So, in your opinion, what makes a good guitarist? I know it's kind of a vague question, but obviously, I'm not saying like a shredder or but as far as if you were building your perfect guitar player in a lab, you know what I mean? I guess so to speak.
For me, my favorite thing about especially electric guitar in particular is how individual you can express yourself through the instrument. Like for instance, like a guy like Santana or Jeff Beck, or it's them right away.
Right.
By their tone, by their approach, and that's what I've always strived for, is to try to just be me. I take my influences. Obviously, I listen to Jeff Beck and Stevie Ray Vaughan and guys like that. But ultimately, I want to sound like me.
Right.
What I mean? I want people to hear my playing and be like, "That's Jake." You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's what I like about it. But I mean, there's all kinds of things. I mean, the guys that are classically trained and can do all, and the fingerstyle acoustic, I'm like amazed by those guys. I've never,
like Tommy Emmanuel.
Yes, that's not what I do. You know what I mean? But and then of course like jazz players, and then there's all these guys from like Nashville and stuff that are they make a living backing anybody up. They can do any style. They're unidentifiable. They're the opposite of what I try to be.
Yeah.
I try to be extremely identifiable, and some of these guys, they make a ton of money just.
Which is an art form in itself.
Exactly, that's what I mean. So it's definitely to each his own. For me, it's like trying to be unique and be yourself.
Absolutely. No, I agree, man. That's awesome, man. That's a great outlook. So what's on the horizon for Lowercase? What do you guys got? Any recording? Any touring?
I mean, hopefully we got we're trying to get this live album out. Hopefully that comes out soon. We just did some traveling. We were in Memphis for the blues competition. We did that again. We do.
How was that? I meant to ask you about that. How was that? What was that experience?
It's great, man. It's great. I mean, it's it's weird to be in a music competition. Because I think those are two different things, really.
Yeah, it doesn't really. It's not really.
Yeah,
it's subjective.
It's subjective. It's extremely subjective. So it's a little weird for that, but it's a great experience. It's a lot of fun. You get to meet a lot of great people, a lot of great bands. We had an awesome time. And then we were just down in Florida, and we had some shows in St. Thomas as well. So we did a little 2-week tour down south. Got some warm weather and played down there. So trying to do some more of that. Trying to get on some more festivals and. Just keep doing what we're doing, man. We're booked up for the summer. You know how we do in the
now
summer.
You guys
so that's coming up.
Busy.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna end the question I ask every guitarist this. I just think it's fun to get everyone's different response. So, Mount Rushmore guitar. Who's your 4? I know it's tough to pick 4, but if you had to pick 4, for any generation, modern, old, alive,
Hendrix has to be on there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I love Jeff Beck. It's hard not to say Stevie Ray Vaughan because he's And I'm just gonna go ahead and say Robin Trower because I've been really into him lately. I just
Bridge of Sighs. That's a great one, man.
Even some of his newer stuff, I really, he's still putting out albums, so I've been listening to him. But I mean, the list could obviously keep going.
Right? It's tough. It's one of them things.
It's
tough to even have to answer that because you feel like you're offending so many of your all-time personal favorites. Well, man, Jake, I appreciate you coming on, man. It's an honor to sit down here and have a talk with you, man. I really appreciate you taking the time, brother. Thank you, man. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in this week. Now is my favorite time of the show where I get to jam with my guest, and we're going to have a little musical conversation. I got this idea from Paul Gilbert, DVD, Silence Followed by a Deafening Roar. Basically, the end of his phrase becomes the beginning of mine, back and forth, kind of try to play off each other, make it as musical as possible. I definitely recommend doing this with a friend at home. Thanks, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good week.